We have the Jupiter 119 arriving from the east. These locomotives are replicas of the 1860s locomotives that were here in 1869. They are fully functional steam locomotives. Now what you just saw the 119 do is called a blowdown. Minerals and debris will collect, and to clear that out, they'll force out pressurized steam and blow that all out the side. The locomotives do run off the original fuel sources, so Jupiter, coming from the west, had a lot of access to wood through the Sierra Nevada mountains. Didn't have a lot of coal, so they used the wood that was there. If you get up close to the Jupiter, you will smell it smells like a campfire. The 119 is a coal-burning locomotive. Lots of coal deposits out to the east, and one of the reasons there was a race here in Utah to try to get to the mountains was for the coal deposits that they had available here. So if you get up close to the 119, it smells more like fireworks. Now they did stop down here at the end of the rails. They are actually flipping switches. They'll stop a few other times as they're coming out, and we'll give you a little bit of a demonstration of how rail traffic was able to get past each other. As you see the locomotives arrive closer, you will see the beautiful decorative nature that stands out with these locomotives. At that time, the decorative nature was advertising. If you can imagine looking at these locomotives, maybe some of you have been down to Ogden and seen the big boy. Doesn't stand out quite as much with the decorative nature. Eventually, the advertising was done in other ways, and just trying to, in the industrial age, time was money. They were forcing things out, so you didn't have quite as much attention to detail. And that power of those locomotives really helped to bring customers in as well. Now, as they're coming out, you'll hear different signals. One whistle blow is a signal for stop. Two whistle blows will be the signal for forward. Three whistles will be the signal for reverse. In just a minute, you'll hear signals as they cross over the roadway. Two longs is short and a long. Now when they first, I'll tell you about that in just a minute, after we hear this signal. So two longs, a short and a long. That is the signal you'll still hear today as rail traffic crosses through intersections. When they first designated a signal for crossings, it was two longs and two shorts. But eventually, as the automobile industry took off, they were having so many problems with accidents that they changed it. So as I was mentioning, two longs and two shorts, with automobile industry taking off, they're having more and more problems with accidents at intersections. So in order to get that road traffic, the cars, to be able to hear these locomotives calling through, pulling their trains, they changed it to two longs, one short, and a long all the way through the intersection so that those automobile operators heard those trains coming through loud and clear, and they'd stay back and cut down on accidents, and that is why you still hear that signal today. Now we hear a signal as the 119's coming through. They're going to go on down. On the main line, the Jupiter has pulled off onto a side track, and I'll tell you about a side track here in just a moment. So crossing along the roadway, they would need water stops about every 30 miles along the Transcontinental Railroad, the original route. And another thing that would be very important is allowing for traffic to pass each other. So sidings became another very important thing. So as you can see, the Jupiter's off to the side. It would allow traffic like the 119 to come all the way through and pass, and then the other train could get back onto their line, continue down the route. Just like the Jupiter's gonna do now. Jupiter will come down here, they'll pull to a stop, then back down the line, back onto that siding. Then the 119 will back down so that eventually they can be out here head to head as the originals would have been in 1869. Now you might ask why the 119, we call that the 119, but the Jupiter we call by its name. It does also have a number. They numbered the locomotives as they came out in succession. The 119 was the 119th locomotive built and put in service for the Union Pacific. The Jupiter was the 60th, but they were still numbering and naming their locomotives. Union Pacific did also name locomotives for a time, but eventually, as they got more and more, they just put numbers on them, made it easier to write down on their schedules and things which trains, which locomotives were coming. Jupiter will give another special signal as it's coming through, and just letting know that traffic's coming through and everybody needs to stay clear. If you folks have been listening, you might have noticed the click-clack of the rails. If you haven't noticed it yet, listen as they're coming back in. Definitely stands out. There's a lot of old songs that talk about that clickety-clack of the rails. You won't hear it quite as distinctly with modern rail traffic as you do with these. If you come and look at the rails eventually, you'll notice that there's gaps in between where those rails connect. Those gaps allowed for expansion and contraction of the rails with heating and cooling. With technology advancing, eventually they were able to allow for that heating and cooling and expansion to just be built into the rails. But back in the day, they had to allow for that, or they would buckle and have problems with the rails. We're going to hear some signals from the 119 here. But that clickety-clack, or that sound going over the rails, became so distinct, it caused one of the terms that we use in modern language. Have any of you ever heard of a deadbeat? Hopefully you've never been called a deadbeat. A deadbeat's someone that doesn't pull their weight, doesn't carry their load. As a train would be pulling down the tracks, if all the cars were loaded down, they'd make a distinctive sound as all those weighted cars went through. But if the train of cars had any cars that were not loaded down, weren't carrying any load, they would make a different sound, a deadbeat. So those cars that weren't pulling their weight, weren't pulling their load, were called the deadbeats, and that coming into our modern technology, or modern terminology, if you're not pulling your weight, you're a deadbeat. We're gonna have both locomotives coming in together. Okay, there's our stop signals. They're going to have part of the crew step down, put chains around the wheels, secure them in place. Once those chains are down, if you folks want to...
Right, folks, once we open this up and the chains are down, we'll let folks come around for pictures. But I just ask that everybody stay on the north side of the tracks. We don't want anybody between the stage and the tracks or on the stage, because the performers are going to have to get set up in a little while. Thank you.
Folks, we thank you for coming out and joining us today. We hope you enjoy your visit. If you have questions and different things you'd like to ask, we do have staff throughout the site, as well as partners and volunteers. We hope you enjoy your visit today and enjoy helping us celebrate the 150th. Thank you.
The stage is on this side.
ties it on a spike. Union Army. Thanks.
Hold your hand, hold your camera up.
Oh, look how many stars are on.
Present arms! Shoulder arms! Right face!
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, up!
The date is May 10th, 1869. The place is Promontory Summit, Utah. An unlikely spot for the culmination of an undertaking that will mark the ending of the Old West and the beginning of the New. But they have come, the famous and the unknown, the wealthy and the poor, the laborer and his boss, the Chinese from the west and the Irish from the east, mingling with the local residents in a strange communion. The gathering is both festive and anxious, awaiting that moment of miracle when a common railroad spike, driven into an ordinary railroad tie, will link a continent. A gentle breeze is blowing under an almost cloudless sky. The thermometer on the shaded side of the Central Pacific Telegraph car registers 69 degrees. Above the babble of voices can be heard the soft hissing of the steam locomotives, which herald the beginning of a new era. A polished tie of laurel wood has been placed in its ceremonial position by the construction superintendent of both railroads. And then Edgar Mills, a wealthy banker and friend of the Central Pacific officials, steps forward and signals for silence. And so a nation, as well as the spectators gathered here, await as the drum of men's hopes and prayers and dreams begin to unfold on this 10th day of May, 1869, and you are here.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the officials of both railroads, the Union Pacific and the Central Pacific, I bid you welcome. We are met today to commemorate a project which is a remarkable example of the vision, the determination, and the labor of thousands of men in a union which this day shall be consummated forever. We are assembled here to link the ends of the earth, to join the raw riches of the American West with the finished products of the industrial East. We are also met this day with mixed emotions, with joy that in a combined effort and a common cause, The brains, the sweat, and the muscle of thousands of men have joined together under the guidance of Almighty God. But it is with profound sorrow that we remember and pay homage to the hundreds of men who gave their lives that we might stand here at this moment and share one with another. Amen. Among those whose presence we are honored to acknowledge at this time include a number of railroad officials from both lines, in addition to those taking part in the ceremony. We are pleased to have reporters from some of America's great newspapers. From the territory of Utah, among other dignitaries present, is Bishop John Sharp, the railroad bishop, representing Governor Brigham Young. We also have Mayor Lauren Farr of Ogden. The beautifully uniformed band with its new instruments is from the Mormon 10th Ward in Salt Lake City. Of utmost importance is the telegraph operator, who will keep the entire nation informed of these proceedings as they transpire. He is Mr. W. N. Schilling, Western Union operator from the Ogden, Utah office. We also take pride in the 21st Infantry Band. They are under the command of Major Milton Cogswell and Lieutenant J.C. Courier of Company K. And now, to unite us in thanks to our Creator, may I introduce a man who has traveled many weary miles to be with us today. He is the Reverend John Todd of Pittsfield, Massachusetts.
Thank you.
From promontory to the country, bulletin, almost ready, hats off, prayer is being offered.
Our Father and God, and our Father's God, God of creation and God of providence, Thou hast created the heavens and the hills. Thou art also the God of all mercies and blessings. We have assembled here this day upon the height of the continent, from varied sections of our country, to do homage to Thy wonderful name, in that Thou hast brought this mighty enterprise, combining the commerce of the East and the gold of the West, to so glorious a completion. We consecrate this highway for the good of Thy people. O God, we implore Thy blessings upon it, that we may all have peace, and that this great railroad may be unto us as the Atlantic of Thy strength and the Pacific of Thy love. Through Jesus the Redeemer. Amen.
Amen. From promontory to the country, we have got done praying. The spike is about to be presented.
Thank you, Reverend Todd. At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce a fellow resident of Sacramento, Dr. H.W. Harkness, who will present to Dr. Thomas C. Durant of the Union Pacific Railroad and Governor Leland Stanford of the Central Pacific Railroad 2 railroad spikes. Dr. Durant and Governor Stanford will then place these spikes into holes that have already been drilled in the laurelwood tie. But these are not ordinary spikes. Ladies and gentlemen, these are golden spikes made from pure California gold. Dr. Hartman.
Gentlemen of the Pacific Railroad, and those of you who have met with us, the last spike needed to unite the Atlantic and the Pacific by a new line of trade and commerce is about to be driven to its place. To perform this act, the East and the West have come together. Never since history commenced her record of human events has man been called upon to meet the completion of a work so magnificent in contemplation and so marvelous in execution. California, within whose borders and by whose citizens the Pacific Railroad was inaugurated, desires to express her appreciation of the vast importance to her and her sister states of the great enterprise which by joint action is about to be consummated. From her mines of gold she has forged a spike. From her laurelwood she has unitized, and by the hands of her citizens she offers them to become part of this great highway which is about to unite her in closer fellowship with her sisters of the Atlantic. From her bosom was taken the first soil. Let hers be the last tie and the last spike. And with them accept the hopes and wishes of her people, that the success of your enterprise will not stop short of its brightest promise. This spike was donated by Mr. Frank Marriott, publisher of the San Francisco Newsletter. And in conclusion, I should like to draw your attention to this spike, the gift of David Hughes of San Francisco. On its head is inscribed, "The Last Spike." On 3 sides, the names of railroad officials, and on the 4th side, this sentence: "May God continue the unity of our country as this railroad unites the 2 great oceans of the world."
We'll want to back up when they put it in. Beautiful. Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Harkness. And now I would like to introduce Mr. F.A. Treidel, a United States Railroad Commissioner and candidate for governor of the great state of Nevada. He will present a spike of pure silver from the famed Comstock lode on behalf of the people of Nevada. Mr. Treidel?
Thank you. Thank you very much. From the iron of the East to the gold of the West, Nevada adds her link of silver to span the continent and wed the oceans.
We are highly honored today with the presence of the Honorable Anson P.K. Safford, who is en route to Arizona as the newly appointed territorial governor. He was kind enough to delay his journey to his new headquarters in order to make a presentation on behalf of the Arizona Territory. Governor Safford?
Ribbed with iron, clad in silver, and crowned with gold, Arizona presents her offering to the enterprise that has banded the continent and directed the pathway to commerce.
Beautiful. Thank you, Governor Safford and Mr. Treidel. And now, friends, it is not only my duty, but my honor and privilege to introduce a man of vision, a man of courage, a humanitarian, and one who is highly esteemed by those of us who call him our friend. He is a Californian whose farsightedness has contributed in large measure to the success of this great enterprise. Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the Central Pacific Railroad, Governor Leland Stanford.
Gentlemen, the Pacific Railroad companies accept with pride and satisfaction these gold and silver tokens of your appreciation of the importance of our enterprise to the material interests of the whole country, north, south, east, and west. These gifts shall receive a fitting place in the superstructure of our road. But before driving the last spike in the completion of the Pacific Railroad, allow me to express the hope that the great importance which you are pleased to attach to our enterprise may be in every respect fully realized. This line of rails connecting Atlantic and Pacific and affording to commerce a new transit will prove, we trust, the speedy forerunner of increased facilities. The day is not far distant when 3 tracks will be found necessary to accommodate the commerce and travel which shall seek transit across this continent. Freight will only move in one direction on each track and at rates of speed to answer the demands of cheapness and time. In conclusion, I might add, we hope to do ultimately that which is now impossible on long lines, transport coarse, heavy, and cheap products at living rates to the trade.
Thank you, Governor Stanford, for your astute and timely remarks. We regret that Dr. Durant is suffering from a severe headache and has temporarily retired to his quarters. In his absence, and in the absence of the president of the Union Pacific Railroad, Mr. Oliver Ames, we have asked General Grenville Dodge, Chief Engineer of the Union Pacific Railroad, to represent his railroad with a few remarks. General Dodge.
Mr. Mills, thank you. Gentlemen, the great senator from Missouri, Thomas Hart Benton, proposed that someday a giant statue of Columbus shall be erected on the highest peak of the Rocky Mountains, pointing westward, denoting this as the great route across our continent. Today, you have made that prophecy a fact. This is the way to India.
Thank you, General Dodge. Ladies and gentlemen, that moment for which you and the entire nation have been waiting, the driving of the last spike, is at hand. At this time, we wish to commend both railroad companies and their workers for their hard work and efficiency in bringing this monumental undertaking to its successful fruition in a record 6.5 years instead of the 12 years allotted to the venture. A final presentation in the form of a silver-plated spike maul will be made by Mr. L.W. Coe, President of the Pacific Union Express Company, after which Governor Stanford and Dr. Durant will make a few ceremonial taps on the precious metal spike with the maul. Mr. Coe.
Thank you. Railroad officials, honored guests and friends, it is the privilege of the officers and workers of the Pacific Union Express Company to add their congratulations upon the completion of this modern-day miracle. This silver-plated spike maul is symbolic of our good wishes.
Very nice. At this point, I should explain that the last spike is a regular iron railroad spike that can be driven with a maul. Both the spike and the maul have been wired to the Transcontinental Telegraph line so that people everywhere can hear the blows as the spike is driven. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the time has come. Boston and New Orleans have wired that they are ready and waiting. Indeed, throughout the length and breadth of the country, people everywhere are waiting at every Western Union station. As Mr. Schilling gives the signal that the last spike is driven, a magnetic ball will fall in the dome of the national capitol. In San Francisco, the fire alarm bell will ring. A volley of 200 rounds will be fired in salute at Fort Point, and in Philadelphia, the Liberty Bell will ring again. Gentlemen, are you ready?
We're ready. From promontory to the country. Bulletin, all ready now. Dr. Durant has adjusted the spike. The spike will soon be driven. The signal will be 3 dots for the commencement of the blows.
Get out from underneath the track.
Yeah.
Perhaps we need a real worker up here to finish this railroad. There you go.
From promontory to the country. Bulletin. D-O-N-E. Done.
Henceforth, there will be but one Pacific Railroad across the United States.
From promontory to President Ulysses S. Grant. Washington, D.C., final bulletin. Mr. President, the last rail is laid, the last spike is driven. The Pacific Railroad is completed to a junction 1,086 miles west of the Missouri River, 690 miles east of Sacramento City, California.
Ladies and gentlemen, we want to hear all of you. 3 cheers for the Union Pacific Railroad. Hip, hip, hooray! Hip, hip, hooray! Hip, hip, hooray!
Some of you aren't hip-hipping now. Let's get it right. Hip, hip, hooray! Hip, hip, hooray! Hip, hip, hooray! Central Pacific.
At that moment, one era ended and another began. The golden spike became a symbol of hope for a better way of life with new challenges yet to be accomplished. We thank you, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, all of you for being with us today. Thank you.
Pointer out.